We trying to get paid.
Making money, make it dollar,
We trying to get paid.
making money,
Yeah, you save and invest, stacking up checks. Let's go.
What a surprise, what a surprise. The NASDAQ closes at another record high. Not a surprise at all. As I've been saying for the last 3 days, this is the easiest market you will ever trade, fellas. Just drop the money in there and let it swing. I mean, if you don't like options, trade leveraged ETFs. Hell, trade the basic ETFs if you want. For the leverage, there's FNGD, there's TQQQ, TECL. If you like the transports, you can do TPOR. If you like the S&P 500 leveraged, you can just type in SPXL, right? SPXL, which stands for leveraged. If you think real estate is going to be saved, you can, look at DRN, I believe, or it might be DRV. I might be confused on that. But remember, leveraged ETFs are short-term, 6-month or less swing trades, right? That allow you to mimic the returns of options without having to use margin, right? And I'm going to continue to repeat this because I know it's going to end ugly, right? You know it's going to end ugly. But until then, we can't sit on the sidelines and watch your dollar grow worthless. I mean, go ahead and pull up DXY. Look at that chart. You're literally watching your dollars grow worthless compared to many of the major currencies out there, right? There's no point in sitting in cash. You are losing value. Go to the supermarket. Your money pays less today than it paid just 6 months ago, right? Food is getting more expensive. Housing is getting more expensive. You've got nowhere else to go to, save yourself but the markets. You can't make any money saving money, right? There's no interest to be earned there, right? So you've got to put money at work, and the market is clearly telling you that's the place to be. NVDA, 10-25 moving average, stay in, people. I mean, what a beautiful chart. What a beautiful chart. It's clearly looking for $500. Now, let's hope it goes vertical from here. I really think it could go that way. I'm thinking Tesla. I mean, I really believe that. I'm telling you right now, this company, NVIDIA, it has a market cap right now of, I believe, $300 billion, and it could very well double in the next 2 to 3 years. I mean, even less. And speaking of Tesla-type gains, I mean, did you see what happened today in Tesla? That was insane. I have no words to describe that kind of price action. $123, $124 a share gain on no news. I mean, how do you even explain that? Back to NVIDIA, I've been reading about their data centers and when it comes to virtualization and the whole idea of giving people processing power and how that's not necessarily a thing right now, but it will be a thing in the near future. Just the idea of being able to give devices processing power from somewhere else. In the future, we may not necessarily have phones that we just replace every year. You just, replace the processing power of whatever service is giving you that information, that speed, that whatever it is from wherever it's coming from, right? You just replace your service provider. And the hardware itself is something you can replace, but you don't necessarily have to, right? And that's because of the improvements companies like Tesla is going to make in terms of their battery. They've got supposedly 1,000-mile battery, and they've got possibly the replacement for the cell phone battery. I mean, it's just insane what kind of developments, what kind of technology that we're going to be seeing over the next couple months, couple years. This is an exciting time to be an investor. It's an exciting time to be an investor, folks. Next year, the year after that, there are going to be more processors out there than they are now. I mean, it's just it is what it is. I mean, the Internet of Things was a slogan, 4 or 5 years ago, but now it's really coming together. Now, look, we're still behind when it comes to the other countries, right? When it comes to 5G implementation, we're still very much behind, but it's coming together. And there are going to be companies out there that are going to profit from it. And you are either going to participate and make some money, or you don't, and you end up poor. I mean, I don't know how else to explain it. I want to shout out to ETFscreen.com. This is a website that keeps you in front of the hottest ETFs at any time. Check it out, guys. ETFscreen.com. When you go to the main page, you can click performance, and that's how you're able to find the hottest ETFs in a multiple amount of time frames above 1 day. You got 1 day, 5 day, 1 month, and so on. So check that site out. It's a completely free site. Very, very helpful for guys who aren't necessarily looking to play individual stocks, but also understand the benefit of playing these leveraged as well as standard ETFs to get in sector-wide plays. How ironic is it that SLV and AGQ today were the hottest ETFs on the market? There's two plays that I've been talking about in the first two episodes of this show. And, I hope you've been focusing because, I've been actually taking some of my own advice and putting some money to work there. And SLV having a bit of trouble with $26, so watch that. But AGQ up $10 from just, 10 days ago. And again, I've been reading about some guys who are having trouble with anxiety and losing money. Look, I get it, guys, but you got to stop day trading, man. You got to just put money in there to put it to work. I don't care if you're making $1,000 a day, $2,000. You could be making a lot more money just keeping the money there. I mean, the chart supports you just keeping the money there. So the little pathetic pennies, and it's really pennies that you're making going in and out, right? You could be making so much more just just keeping the money there. You can be building way more wealth than you are just starting out on Monday, putting some money funds in, and letting it ride for the rest of the week. Pull up the weekly chart. You don't have to day trade these things. I mean, they're giving you the money. They're giving you the money. When you jump in at 10:30, 11 o'clock, well, guess what? Yeah, you make some gains, but that overnight push, you didn't participate in that. So that's money you've left on the table because you haven't been able to benefit from it. All right, so you're losing way more money, day trading than you are just sitting there and collecting all the benefits to what the Federal Reserve and the federal government is giving you right now. Again, all the suckers got $1,200, and the investment class, you listening to this and myself, we're getting the meat and the potatoes. All right, we're getting the $4 trillion that was being placed into the markets. We're getting the meat and potatoes, folks. You got to eat every part of that. You got to eat every part of this meal that they're serving you. All right, look, I just want to say this. If you got some fear, all right, just one share. I know you got $100. Drop that in Robinhood. Whether it's AGQ, SLV, GLD, I think GLD is actually more than $100 now. I know for a fact it's over $100. But pick one of the silver plays, give it 2 weeks, heck, give it 2 months, better yet, If it's not higher, I'm giving you the permission to stop listening to me. I'm giving you the permission to stop listening to me because, that means I'm not giving you good advice, right? I'm giving you advice you don't need because it's losing you money. I have an incentive to provide you good advice. Right? Because if I don't, you're going to be like, man, Sal, that fucking nigger, I'm not going to listen to that guy. I always lose money behind that guy. I don't want to be that guy to you. All right? I want to be somebody who you can listen to, and you're going to make a couple bucks, like some of the guys who did in NVDA and also in Netflix today. Big mover in Netflix today, huge mover, and that we're going to follow up on that with another big day tomorrow in Netflix, God willing. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, there are some stocks that are overbought, but now that I'm my mind's on Netflix here, still looking really good here. So, last thing on the metals, by the way, copper is at a multi-year high, and if you want to learn how to play copper, you don't actually. There's no ETF for it. I don't believe so. So what everybody does is they buy FCX, which is Freeport-McMoRan, the largest copper miner out there. So if you pull up FCX and you pull up copper, they basically are exact same chart. I mean, spot on. As I've mentioned earlier, if you're not in the FANG stocks, I mean, you're basically not making any money. All right, we're creating a new economy here. All right, fuck your small business neighbor. All right, we have Amazon. Right, and Amazon delivers way more products than your small business neighbor. They deliver it in 2 days, right, at great prices. All right, we don't care that your local deli has been in the family for 3 generations, 4 generations. Well, guess what? We got Ronald McDonald delivering now. All right, I can get a Big Mac and a smile to my house in 30 minutes. And yes, I'm paying a little bit more, but guess what? Big Henry's old fart sandwiches, he wasn't doing that. All right, he forced you to get into your car, drive up there, stand in line, and get food. Now, some of them have gone on to to create some kind of delivery service, but a lot of them are just getting blown out the water. And it is what it is, because that is what makes America great. That's capitalism. That's capitalism. That's how capitalism works. All right. So yeah, we're going into a world of fewer choices, but better choices. Better choices. All right. And look, all those old delis and places like that, they all had those weird corny names like Big Mama's Tasty Slapping Hose or something like that. So look, all that gets replaced, and all that gets replaced by these big corporates that pay a shitty wage, but at least do a lot better for their employees than Big Henry's and Big Mama's Tasty Slapping Hose. Right? They never did anything for their employees. They never put anybody through college. They never gave anybody a 401k. They never did you couldn't buy a home working for people like that. All right? You couldn't get a decent retirement working for people like that. I can show you examples of people who work for McDonald's, who work for Wendy's. And yeah, I mean, it's not necessarily the greatest job in the world, but if you saved your money and you were good about your investments and you were able to live somewhere cheap in the middle of podunk nowhere, you reinvested and you participated in a stock option program, they retired with a good sum of money. A good sum of money. I mean, bearing in mind that you actually climbed the ladder that they have there. You worked from the register to the grill, then assistant manager to the manager. All right. And maybe if you're lucky, get district manager. All right. And if you're a real badass, hey, they'll give you a restaurant. It's true. It's absolutely true. McDonald's has created more millionaires who didn't have college diplomas than anybody else. All right? Than anybody else, excluding the real estate business. Before I leave, I want to let you know I'm watching the news on Airbnb. I don't see anything yet worth talking about because they're not trading. But Airbnb does want to trade. I'm very interested in what Airbnb is going to trade like. I'm actually really excited about what that's going to do, because I think that could absolutely kill the hotel business, because Airbnb is a real deal. I mean, it's everything you love about the convenience of ordering food and having it delivered, in the aspect of just being able to book a room, not having to deal with anybody, not having to walk through a lobby or anything. You just book the room and you go there and you show up and it's nice. For the most part, it's clean, and you go about having a great time. I mean, that's a great business. That's a great business, and they don't even own any of the properties. All right, great business, great business. Keep your eye on Rocket Mortgage. It's very similar business there. I mean, we learned how the convenience business is something that really makes great returns. If you looked at Carvana over the years, you know that the system works. So RKT is the ticker there, RKT. Nice bounce today. So continue to watch that, because the convenience of being able to get a mortgage as easily as an app, I think is something that can really stick, guys. It can really stick. So RKT is really at the beginning, and it reminds me a lot of Facebook when it went public at $40 and just kind of sat there for a while. And now everybody wishes they could have some of the $40 Facebook. It's one of those things you can start watching it. Really pay attention to that. All right. Huge runner with a bright future ahead of it. Incredibly liquid, too. I mean, look at that liquidity. I mean, millions and millions of shares being traded there. In the next episode of the show, I'm going to talk biotech, specifically some of these pandemic runners like mRNA and others. I do need to do a bit more research on the space, so I'll take some time to do that tonight. For all the hype about those plays, you're starting to see it die down when you pull up XBI, a biotech ETF. But there are a bunch of other stocks that were specifically, vaccine candidates that are going to end up burning a lot of people. And we got to know what those are. We got to know what those are for you guys who are probably going to be interested in trying to short those. It's your boy Sal. I delivered this real early. I tried to, get it out there at 5:30. I'm going to miss that deadline, but I'm trying to get this out as early as the end of the day as possible. Tell me if you like what I'm doing here, man. If you ain't feeling it, let me know. But something that I can put out consistently, very quickly, my thoughts on the market. If you appreciate it, let me know. It's your boy Sal. Until next time, trade well.